Hi, Monique here. If you like this kind of information, consider joining my Patreon group. You have level 1 where you get lots of written posts, tips and tricks, supplement information. Level 2 will get you a 2 or 3 day menu plan so that you can eat low oxalate and do it with confidence. And level 3 will get you the whole live Patreon Zoom where you get to participate and ask questions. So enjoy the video and check me out on Patreon. Honor of the Christmas season, many years ago, I developed a recipe for my own homemade Bailey's Irish Cream. And the thing that concerned me about Bailey's Irish Cream was the fact that it had cocoa in it. So I was trying to get the right flavor, but avoid some of the higher oxalate ingredients. I've managed to do that with this very interesting combination of things that you see here. We've got vanilla, we have almond extract, we have a little bit of instant espresso to kind of give us a little more flavor. 2 different extracts here combined with stevia. So one is a dark chocolate flavored stevia, one is a toffee flavored stevia. Then I've got 2 sweeteners. You don't have to use 2 separate sweeteners, but I've got our friend allulose, which has some great benefits if you're wanting to manage your blood sugar. And then I've got erythritol. It doesn't really matter the brand, but erythritol is another lower carb, lower blood sugar impact sweetener. And then I've got our friend cocoa powder right here. Our last ingredient, which I did not have laid out here on the counter, a little bit of whiskey. I do not have as strong a recipe as you might find from other people on the internet, but I was kind of hoping that we could enjoy some of the flavor and not end up having so much of the whiskey that we couldn't have more than maybe 1 ounce at a time. For every 1 ounce shot of my Bailey's Irish Cream, it's going to be a little bit less than 2 milligrams of oxalate. It's very doable. And just to remind everybody, grown-up treat. This is for all the grown-ups. This is something special that you can make for a holiday drink and enjoy without having to worry about the oxalate. The whiskey goes in last. So we have to start with all of our lovely flavors and our whipping cream to make sure that we're getting that base to add the whiskey to, so that we'll get that nice liqueur Bailey's flavor. So the main ingredient is going to be whipping cream. So you're not going to be worried about your calories with this because it's going to have lots of the good stuff in it. We need 2.5 cups. Don't worry too much about absolute precision. I never make recipes that fail if they have small mistakes made in them. And what we're doing with our whipping cream is we're going to cook it down to give it that nice, smooth, creamy liqueur result. Okay, we'll start that on low just to let it start to warm. Now let's gather our other ingredients. So we're going to add next the espresso powder, my sweetener. I am going to mix these 2, but you could just use one or the other if you prefer, and my cocoa powder. You actually use 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and this is going to be where most of your oxalate's coming from. We are also putting in at this point the espresso powder. I really keep this on hand mostly to make Bailey's Irish cream, but this Nescafe is not a bad espresso powder. And we're putting, a tablespoon in. And you might be wondering why we would add a coffee flavor to something like Bailey's Irish cream. But what the coffee flavor does is intensify the chocolate flavor that you're building in here. So things like instant espresso can be used in things like brownies, for instance, to give you a bit more of that chocolate kind of flavor, as long as you're not worried about caffeine. And last but not least, our sweetener. And I need a half cup. So half cup total, I'm going to use a quarter cup of each of what I've got here. So I have allulose and I have erythritol. And as I mentioned, I'm going to mix these two because I'm looking for some blood sugar management support from the allulose. And less blood sugar impact from the erythritol. And I mentioned I hate Ziploc bags for ingredients. Okay. This now needs to come up to temperature and we need to whisk. And this is going to take a long time. So what we want is to slowly cook this down so we have the mixture thickening and losing some of its water content. We will want to make sure that we don't have any lumps of cocoa powder left in our finished product. So as you're whisking, you can be slowly working those out. Okay, so I did make an actual mistake in the order of my recipe. My original has the dry ingredients going in the pot and slow add of the whipping cream so that you can kind of incorporate them better. And I had forgotten that step. So I'm working out some of these little bits of cocoa that haven't properly dissolved into the mixture. What I'd say to you is that when you make mistakes, it's not the end of the world. So what I'll be doing, if there's any little bits of cocoa that are still floating in this when I'm done, I'll just be putting this through a sieve or a strainer in order to make sure that I don't have any of that left in my finished product. When you're cooking this sweet part of your liqueur, what you're trying to do is reduce your liquid by about a third. So it's not a perfect science here, but again, it's about 10 to 15 minutes. You want it on a slow boil. You can see the steam coming off it. And we want to just make this more concentrated and creamier. So when you're looking for a slow boil, this is what you're looking for. And keep whisking because you do not want it to catch on the bottom of your pot. It required me sacrificing my sobriety to get the taste right. So I had gone out onto the internet, got a number of homemade Bailey's recipes, compared them, was looking for how I could get the right flavors and the right tones to the taste. And honestly, the first batch, I did so much taste testing. I think I was, as the local euphemism would go, 3 sheets to the wind by the time my husband got home, and was still in the process of baking down. Second time I made it at my mother's house. Again, there were still some additional tweaking going on as my sister-in-law helped me with the whole process, and apparently it was a very funny Christmas, and the two of us were quite entertaining. So just be warned, this is really a grown-up beverage. Even though it's not as strong as perhaps some Bailey's Irish Cream, there's still alcohol in there. Okay, we're almost done. And as the liquid is thickening up a bit, you're getting bubbles that also have kind of a thicker skin on them because the liquid they're coming up through is thicker. So you should be seeing that. You can see that kind of on the edge of the pot, the actual liquid in the pot was higher previously. You can see kind of the ridge where it was, so we've lost some volume. This is looking pretty good. It's nice and smooth. Lost some volume. We'll take it off the. Has that wonderful cocoa color. And we're gonna let it cool a little bit before we add the whiskey and the other flavorings, because all of these things have, well, most of them have a little bit of alcohol in or something that's going to evaporate off. So we're just going to give it a little bit of time to cool, and then we'll get to the next step. We now have our whipped cream mixture cooled a bit, but you'll be able to see as you look on the top here, it looks like it's starting to develop a bit of a skin. That's very typical as it cools. Do not worry, simply mix it up, make sure all things are mixed in again, and next we'll add our extracts. We are now ready to add our flavorings. So we are going to be using our flavored stevia, and we have 3 drops of this. And while it doesn't seem like a lot, it's amazing what these little bits of flavored stevia are going to do for us. And we're also going to use 3 drops of our flavored dark chocolate stevia, and then a little bit of these extracts. So I have vanilla extract, and we're going to use 1.5 teaspoons of that. Now, if you're worried about pouring your extracts into your measuring spoons, don't do it over top of the container like I just did, because you can end up with more than you expect. But I'm pretty confident of my abilities to get it in there and not get too much. You might want to be a little more careful with the almond extract, because we only need a very small amount, 1/4 teaspoon. So I really don't want to get extra of this. I'm going to do it over my mug just in case. Perfect. All right, we have our extract and our stevia drops in. And again, you have to make sure it's properly incorporated, because you do have a lot of dairy product in here, so you may get almost like a skin forming, but it's okay because the Crown Royal whiskey will take care of all of that. We only need a cup of this. Unless you like your Bailey's stronger, I'll leave that up to you, but I prefer it like this, where I get more flavor and can drink more of it without having too much alcohol. Oh, there we are. Yeah. And I'm gonna whisk while I incorporate this. And you'll see, you might have a liqueur that's going to be slightly darker in color perhaps than some Baileys. The flavor is very good. And here you go. If you've got any little bits in there, I do see the odd one, you can strain it. And that's what I would do if I was wanting to make sure that I didn't have anything to disrupt the nice creamy texture. But you essentially have your Bailey's Irish Cream now. And all it needs to do is to cool if you want to drink it cold. But we're gonna try it with some coffee. All right. Time to taste the results. We've got a lovely double shot of espresso in here and our Bailey's Irish Cream. Perfect. So that's how easy it can be for you to make your own ode to Bailey's Irish Cream. It is a lovely treat. Coffee is obviously a great match with it. If you like a traditional Irish coffee, this is the kind of thing that'll work with that. You can also use it as part of a dessert or pair it with a meal where you've got fairly strong taste, because you want something that's going to stand up to that lovely Irish cream and give it a bit of fight. So perhaps lamb or beef. We'll link a few things in the show notes that give you some ideas. And any of these recipes that we do suggest, you'll be able to find on my Patreon group. That's www.patreon.com. And those recipes that we suggest will be available for purchase. So whether you're a member who is a free member and just following me there, or you are a member who is a paid member, this will be an available recipe. So those of you who already subscribe, congratulations, you're gonna get these for free. For those of you who don't subscribe but would like to see what you might get for your money, you can buy the individual recipes that we will link to. And for all the reasons that people enjoy this season, including Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's, whatever traditions you follow and whatever celebrations you're having, we'll raise a cup here to you with coffee and homemade Bailey's Irish Cream and wish you all the best in the season.